It's the Fairway Times podcast presented by Wild Goat. You know that feeling. 3 hours into a round, standing over a wedge, tuck pin, everything on the line, and your mind just drifts? That's not a swing problem. That's a focus problem. Most golfers try to fix it with coffee or an energy drink, and sometimes it works, but most of the time you get the jitters early and crash right when it matters most. Wild Goat built something different. Their Focus Plus Hydration Gummy was made specifically for the demands of a golf round. Not the gym, not the track, golf. It combines alpha GPC and cognizant for sharp, clear focus. A small, calibrated dose of caffeine with L-theanine to keep things smooth and steady, and electrolytes to keep you hydrated and mentally tough through 18 holes. No jitters, no crash, just presence. The kind that lets you stand over a hard shot and actually be there for it. Visit getwildgoat.com to order yours today and use code FAIRWAYTIMES10 for 10% off your entire order. That's Fairway times 10 to get 10% off your entire order. Getwildgoat.com. And now let's get into the show.
Waited for years. Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory.
This is the Fairway Times. What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We just had a heck of a weekend of golf. The Valspar did not disappoint. Live Golf is having a moment. Bryson DeChambeau's on a tear. Is Max Fitzpatrick destined for another major? We are going to get into everything today. So let's start with our first segment, as we always do, recapping the weekend, tee it up. Let's just start with Max Fitzpatrick. I mean, I want to start there. Picks up his third PGA Tour title and kind of avenges himself from last week's buzzer beater loss at the Players. He won by one shot over David Lipsky, finishing 11 under. And this is his first PGA Tour win in nearly 3 years, guys. So it's been a while for Fitzy. He's been patient, and it's paying off. Every part of his game just looks like it's absolutely cruising. Fitzy birdied the 18th hole from just inside 15 feet to cap a final round 3 under 68. On 18, I was going back and watching all the highlights, and he had to hit a drive in a narrow fairway. That is not a difficult tee shot, or not an easy tee shot, at Copperhead. And you know what? To his credit, he stepped up, and just for 2 straight weeks, he is, kind of showing why maybe he deserves to be a top 10 player in the world right now. I kind of said it last week, which is I felt bad for Fitzy last week with all the USA chants and him taking a bunch of shit really for no reason from all those fans at the Players, and he didn't let it affect him. Him and his caddy went back to work. Fitzy pocketed 500 FedEx Cup points, I think, and rises to third in the standings, and he banked almost 1.7 million. So not a small payday for the Englishman. And that also extends his PGA Tour membership, I believe, to the end of 2029. So what does this really mean, right? For Masters prep, that's kind of what we've all been building towards. I think Fitzpatrick is a really fun bet. I mean, he's playing probably the best golf of his career. I'm not sure if that is a outright win bet, but it could definitely be a top 20. His game looks so consistent. And the other thing that just really stands out to me is that unique Bettinardi putter. He is absolutely rolling the rock. He's still playing some older pings that I saw through a Golf WRX thread are 10 years old. So that just shows that it really doesn't matter the equipment in your hand, guys. I mean, it does to a certain extent if it fits you correctly, but all the new tech, everything, Fitzpatrick is rolling out of bed with the same irons. I mean, he did in 2016. So I just think it's awesome. I'm really happy for him. Does Augusta really fit his game? Tee to green, I think he's been great. He hits those super low bullets which at Augusta, he's going to get a ton of rollout if the golf course is playing really, really firm. I think the approach shots, he's always having to force himself to try and make a long putt for birdie. And at Augusta, that can bite you because those greens are just, depending once again how hard that team over there has it playing, can bite you. But I do know that he's not going to lack any confidence. He's not scared of anybody. And just, once again, happy for the guy. I want to go a little bit into the Sungjae Im collapse because it was really hard to watch. I mean, this was his golf tournament to lose. He was the outright leader looking for his first win in over 5 years, and everything came undone. For 2 straight weekends, we have watched Ludwig and now Sungjae absolutely collapse on Sunday. It was a 2 over 74, 4 bogeys across the first 8 holes, and he ended up finishing tied for 4th at 8 under. So, I mean, what really went wrong? The golf course, right? Copperhead is a difficult place to play, and he played really, really well for 3 straight days. And that is just extremely hard to maintain on a golf course that demands that much of players. And we all know golf is a super hard sport. It's hard for all of us normal people to keep it together for 18 holes, let alone for 4 straight days at one of the hardest venues on tour. So I'm not out on Sungjae. It sucked, right? His Sunday performance was an F. There's no way around it. But I think the tournament as a whole, we can give him a B minus is what I would give him there. So not too worried about him. He hasn't played that many events since coming back from the wrist injury. He's in the new irons that's been talked about a lot. He's playing the Titleist T150s, which was a huge discussion point because those are obviously more of a thicker cavity back. And I think that just takes time to get used to. You can't expect somebody to play good immediately with new equipment and without a lot of rounds, competitive tournament rounds logged. And, I don't know what else there is to say. I think his game is in great shape, and I think we're going to keep seeing him finish higher up in tournaments as the year goes on. So who I do really, really feel bad for, though, is David Lipsky. He had the birdie putt on 18 to send it into a playoff. And he was literally inches away, guys. Like, go back and watch that video. It's painful. He had to, it was an extremely long putt, first of all. He was just off the green. He was kind of on like this weird in-between fringe area. And in my head, as I was watching it, I kept saying to myself, you can't leave this short. Whatever you do, you can't leave it short. And to Lipsky's credit, he hit one of the best speed putts you can hit. And it was literally within probably 2 inches and missed just a touch low on the left side. It was a right to left breaking putt, and he missed just on the left side. So, it sucks, right? It really, really sucks. Him and Fitzpatrick both hit unbelievable tee shots on 17 to inside 15 feet, and neither of them could convert. And so it was all about Fitzpatrick just draining the long one to win it on 18. I think this is a great place for Lipsky to build off of, though, and just continue his kind of quest for becoming a top 30 player in the world. And I think this is going to be a real confidence builder that he went toe-to-toe with a major champion and took him to the 18th hole. So congratulations, David Lipsky. I didn't look at the money list for second place, but I'm sure he made as much money as he's ever made in his whole career, potentially in one day. So good for him. And, take that confidence and keep it rolling in the FedEx Cup point standings. Just some other notable performances I want to touch on. Jordan Smith with a solo third of -9. He shot 66, which is on Sunday, which was made his highest career finish, and is just his second career top 10 on the PGA Tour. So congratulations to him. And then Xander Schauffele. He finishes 4th at -8. He shot 6 under 65 and was one of the rounds of the day, but he just played too inconsistent on Thursday and Friday, and it left him too far back to capitalize. And I think Xander, once again, another guy that has a lot of momentum headed into Augusta. there are just 1 or 2 days between Valspar and players that are kind of falling apart for him. But when he puts it all together, we know it's good enough to win majors. And I know a lot of people talk about that Valhalla, right? Is not a proper golf course, whatever that means. I'm not in that group. I think a major is a major, right? It's difficult to win one of the 4 biggest golf tournaments in the world, and he's done that twice. So now, would Schauffele want to add a green jacket into his closet? Of course. I think every player does, and if they already have one, they want to add 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think he's trending, and if he can figure out I think you can really see when I watch a lot of Xander Schauffele, when he's playing at his best, there's a tempo and a rhythm to his game, and it has nothing to do with the swing. It's how he walks into shots. It's how much time he's taken over the ball. When he's playing bad, there's a weird thing where it's just grip readjustment, and we've all been there. So it's very, very relatable. But when he's playing well, it's like one and go. And I think that's really the biggest difference. So just kind of looking ahead, right? Next stop is we are out in Houston for the Texas Children's Open. And then the next week we have the Valero Texas Open. So 2 more weeks as we kind of begin the final countdown to Augusta, Georgia. If I had to guess, the fields are going to look pretty bare. I haven't looked yet. We will talk about that briefly on Thursday, but it's my guess our podcast will come out on Friday, but I will record on Thursday. I'm guessing they'll look bare. We have a lot of guys taking time off to rest and get their games ready for Augusta. The other thing, something very notable, Scotty Scheffler. He's about to have his second kid, so congratulations to him. I remember a couple of years ago when Bennett was born, it was like this big thing. Will Scotty Scheffler leave the Masters? And this year, it's not looking like that. I think his wife's due date was yesterday. So anytime now, he will have his second child. And I think that just adds flames to the fire, as a lot of us have the superstition when we're betting about new dads and, winning golf tournaments. I know this is a big thing in football for quarterbacks that I like to look at. So just something to note and put into the feather of the cap. So to just kind of recap, happy for you, Matt Fitzpatrick. Congratulations. Redemption is a sweet thing. So let's jump into another segment that I would like to do today, which is a new one that you guys haven't heard yet, which is highlighting a course that I played that I've never played before. So as a lot of you guys know, when you're really, really in-depth in golf, you end up usually being on rotation of 4 to 5 golf courses. But last week, I got the opportunity to travel back to Northern California, where I'm originally from. And a lot of you know that I did not play golf growing up. So there is a bunch of amazing golf courses in the Sierra Nevada mountains that I've never played. And so one of the first ones I played was Apple Mountain, which I've played a bunch of times, played with one of my good friends. We had an amazing day out there. Conditions were excellent. And I shot 84 out there, so was really happy with the result. It's a very short, more target golf course. And then a couple days later, I played a twilight round at a place called The Ridge. Now, for those of you that don't know, The Ridge is out in Auburn, California, and this was one of the hardest tests of my career. I've played some difficult golf courses. I've played pretty far back at TPC Scottsdale. This was a whole different animal. So I showed up, and I asked one of the pros what were the greens running, just because I wanted to know. I was curious. And he told me it's between a 10 or 11, and this is a mountain course, mind you. So this is about, for an amateur golfer like myself, this is a nightmare on Elm Street to hear. And pulled up to the first tee, and I'm paired with a bunch of just great dudes. 2 guys that are playing from the front tees, and then myself and another kind of club tournament style player that I meet. Awesome guy. But we both agree that we're going to play from the tournament tees, which at The Ridge is not super far back, not the farthest back. You're not tipped out, but just in front of that. And I kid you not, the marshal asked us, what tees are you guys playing from? And this guy's like a super old Vietnam vet, just straight to the point, and we tell him. And he looks right at us, and I kid you not, excuse my French, but he says this to us: "That's going to be the longest 6,400 yards of your fucking lives, the way this golf course is playing lately." And I was kind of like, okay, I mean, I can hit the ball decently far away. Usually drives are 285 to 300, so I'm never really worried about distance. And then I glance at the scorecard, and hole number 1 is just an extremely long, like 430-yard par 4 up a hill. And I push this drive out right and end up in some of the thickest rough I've ever played in. And I have to basically hit a layup shot and end up making double. I can't hold anything on these greens coming out of the rough. And that's when I kind of knew it was going to be a really long day. But I didn't score the way I wanted to. I have not shot in the 90s in 8 months, and I shot 92 out there. And I didn't feel like I played bad, believe it or not. I was hitting really good golf shots, and they just weren't working out on the conditions. It took another level to score well out there. And kind of looking around, I think I was seeing the same thing from people that, looked like they were striking the ball well, but they looked very frustrated. So, bottom line is, what a beautiful golf course. I mean, just an absolute hidden gem, amazing putting green. They had a statue out there of Payne Stewart, unbelievable clubhouse, and just a super scenic golf course, which now that I play a lot in Southern California, unless you're playing ocean golf, there is some mountainous golf right out in the Inland Empire, out in Riverside County, but it's not like what the landscape that I was used to growing up in Northern California. And so I miss that. I miss the oak tree lined fairways, and it was just kind of good to just get back in that. And it was just a beautiful day of golf. And if any of you guys are ever out in the Auburn area, there are 3 absolute killers out there in terms of courses. So you have the Ridge, which is what we were just talking about. You have a place called Dark Horse, which is very similar vibes. And then Winchester, which is a semi-private course. And all 3 of these are unbelievable. I have not got the opportunity to play Winchester yet. I played Dark Horse, and the conditions were immaculate. So I hope they are still like that. I know they just got some new ownership that took over not too long ago. And I also saw that they just recently became semi-private. So I hope that the conditions even get better, because just what an awesome place to live out there and be a golfer. The other thing that's a big separator that I've noticed out playing up there is there's so many grass ranges. I'm so jealous of it. Every decently nice course has just an amazing grass range, and usually it's mats and grass, so they go back and forth. But in Southern California, that rarely exists. It's all mats. So I don't know if it's the amount of rain they're able to grow the grass faster, but if any agronomy experts are listening to this, leave a comment, DM me, because I want to know why they are able to have just such immaculate grass ranges out there. So I always do a ranking, right? Course ranking. I'm going to give this course an 8.5 out of 10, an extremely high rating by me. I would go play out there every day of the week. Golf is way cheaper in that part of California than I am used to. It shocked me. And it just makes the round, when you're not paying $120 for a round and you're playing bad, you can still appreciate the landscape and the golf course. When you're paying a ton of money, I still really struggle with that if I am playing bad. And that's something I need to get better at, because at the end of the day, we all love and we're all playing this game because we love it. It's to have fun, right? And I've made it part of my career. But at the end of the day, when I go out and play, I am not playing for over $2 million a weekend. So who cares, right? Nobody really cares about my handicap. And nobody really cares about your handicap unless you're a sandbagging bitch in a tournament. So just something to keep in mind. I want to talk about where my game is right now, because it's in kind of a peculiar spot. So I recently, about a month and a half ago, got down into single digits for the first time. I was a 9.8 for about a week and a half. That did not last long. And now I shot a couple bad rounds, including my performance at the Ridge. And now I'm back up to a 10.8. And golf is just like that. It's very frustrating. But What I will say is that my ball striking is as good as it's ever been. And what I mean by good ball striking is flush contact 90% of the time. 10%, there's still a lot of woes. There's still, my miss right now is low and left, unfortunately, especially with the driver, which can be extremely frustrated to try and play with that. And eventually with the driver, I would love to just hit pull cuts. I really would, because I think at some point I have to get to the place where I know which way the miss is with the driver. Because when I start going low left, all of a sudden I want to try and feel like I'm swinging out to the right. And there are these big blocks that take off to me on the right. So at some point, at least with a pull cut, if it over rips to the right, I have no problem with that. At least I know where that's at. The other thing is I've been working extremely hard, which on my chipping, on my short game, and it's really paying off. So sometimes I get in these months where I'm just obsessed with my full swing, and it really takes time away from my short game, which is truly what matters in my game. I'm always going to be scrambling a decent amount. None of us strike the ball at the level of a tour guy. Or even some of these YouTube guys, right? Like Grant Horvat at a +4. Yeah, does he need his chipping skills? Absolutely. But he's hitting so many greens in reg that it's less prevalent in his game. With somebody like me, I miss a lot of greens. That's one of the low points in my game. So to make up for that, obviously we're always trying. It's the never-ending pursuit, just like Tour Pros, to get ball striking better and hit more greens in reg. But in the meantime, something I can control is my chipping and my short game. And I've a lot of you know, I've publicized that I love Dan Greaves' 3-release system. And I love it because it not only gives you physical cues for when you're practicing and where like the butt end of the club should be, but it also just gives you mental organization. Before I found that system, I would walk up to a ball and I would just be like, well, I feel like I have to get height on it right here. I feel like I need to open the club face, but like, what does that really entail and feel like? And now it's like, hey, I know this is a release 2. It might not always be a stock release 2, but I really know and understand at least that if I'm super on an upslope, like it might need to be a release 2 with a little more hook. Or if I'm on a brutal downslope, I know I need to cut a release 1. Does it always work out? No. Am I still blading chips once in a while? Yes. But the matter of the fact is that I know that mentally I'm trying to hit the right shots. And over the course of the next 30 years, if I do eventually want to take a shot at qualifying for something at a higher level, I know that that will pay off. So the other part of my game that I think I'm really struggling with right now is putting. And it's always been something where I'm a little more of a guy that is going to have multiple putters. Whatever's hot's going to stay in the bag. And when it gets really cold, that putter's going to go into timeout. And so for those of you that do know and have seen some of my content, my normal putter that is consistently the most in the bag is a Scotty Cameron Phantom 5S, which is the center shafted mallet. And it's not zero torque. It's not any of that BS. It's just an old school center shafted Phantom, which I say old school in quotes because I know they're not that old. But now, right, with zero torque coming out, that seems like years ago. And I've very much debated whether I should just go away from the pistol grip and just put a super stroke on it. Because I go back and forth between left-hand low grip with an overlap like Nelly Korda does, or back to the claw. And so those two grips are very much more fit better with a little bit thicker grip than the thin pistol. So that's something I'm experimenting with. I do have a Lab Oz Eye that goes in and out of the bag a little bit, but the thing I haven't enjoyed about it is everything I feel like comes off the face extremely hot, and somebody like me needs all the help they can get with speed control. And my problem is that I have hammer hands. When I have a problem with speed, it's because it's 8 feet past the hole. So I don't need any help in that regard. I love the feeling of milled, if you will. And funny enough, the Oz I have is actually a milled insert, and so it really doesn't make sense to me why it comes off hot, but it just does. And it's so prevalent between just my Scotty and the Oz. Everything is by the hole compared to the Scotty. So something to note, a DF3 has also goes in and out of my bag. So something I experiment with a little bit. Really love it as well, but it's just, once again, it's whatever's hot in that regard. So that's kind of where my game is. I have to be more consistent off the tee. I don't have to hit more fairways. I need to keep more things in play and scoreable, truly. This weekend, I played a local Southern California course called El Prado, where I shot 87. Horrible driving experience. I was 4 over on the front, guys. I was cooking. I thought it was going to be a special day, maybe be in the upper 70s, and completely collapsed off the tee on the back. So that's something where I need to find a couple consistent shots. I do currently have the 2-iron in the bag for when that happens, when I'm uncomfortable with the driver, the 3-wood. The problem is if I'm not swinging well, the 2-iron is not going to get me in trouble per se on dispersion, but it can get you in trouble in terms of if you hit it off the toe, it's going to go about 140 yards. And so forces you to, maybe have a 5-iron into a par 4, which is just horrible. But when I'm hitting the 2-iron well, it's a great 250 club. So those are the things I really feel like I need to work on. I am very much considering putting mini driver in the bag and just ditching the driver completely, because with the amount of speed that I do have, I mean, I've been able to get it up to 190 on a simulator. And that is not to brag at all, because I actually wish I did not swing it that hard from the years of baseball, because that means when you miss, the misses are way worse. One of my family members does not swing it hard at all, and she never gets in trouble off the tee. Yeah, the distance isn't there, but she will never, ever take a penalty stroke in a round. And I feel like that serves the amateur golfer better than myself, who, yeah, there's going to be a couple that run out to, 320, 330, may have a wedge in, but the amount of shots that I do sacrifice with the dispersion on penalty strokes is just too many right now. So that's why I have considered going to a mini driver. And I've also experimented recently with the idea of maybe putting a 7-wood in the bag or a 9-wood, and just kind of seeing what that gets to my game. When I first started playing golf, I didn't know anything, and I actually randomly had a super nice Callaway Rogue Max 7-wood, and I sold it, of course, on Facebook Marketplace, and I rue the day that I do, because I wish that was still in my bag. I missed that club. There were so many amazing situations where it was like 220, and right now I'm pulling 4-iron, and sometimes I'm just like, that 7-wood would have fit into the bag really, really well. So I did see a super interesting TikTok where a guy went driver, 5-wood, 2-iron, 9-wood, which is one of the most unique bag setups I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, all this with the amateur golfer, it's just what's going to enhance your game, right? None of us are tour pros, so yeah. Speaking of equipment, let's touch on what was in Max Fitzpatrick's bag this weekend, because I think there were some extremely cool, just some super unique things that we haven't seen in a while. So let's start with the driver, right? He's using a GT3 Titleist 9 degree, and he's in the Mitsubishi Tensei AV Raw Orange 65TX, very standard for a tour player. So nothing crazy there. 3-wood TaylorMade QI35 with the Mitsubishi Tensei AV Raw 75TX. It just seems at this point, guys, that almost every guy, besides your staffers at the major companies, are using TaylorMade Fairwoods. They're just dominating everything. So shout out to TaylorMade for figuring it out, because I'm unfortunately seeing a lot of things about the new drivers that they are breaking in half. They are cracking, which is a bummer for TaylorMade. You hate to see that. But whatever they're doing with their fairway woods, they should just keep like as long as they can. Who cares about new technology? You guys' past 3 to 4 years of fairway woods have been truly special. Let's jump into the 4 iron. He is rocking a Ping I-220, and that has the Ping CFS X-Stiff shaft in it, which this is a shaft I am not familiar with. And in 5 through 9 iron, he is rocking the S55s. These S55 clubs, guys, they're chunkier than you think. I'll try to put a photo up on the screen here for you guys if I can get it, but these are chunkier than you're used to seeing on tour. So shout out Max Fitzpatrick. He does not give a shit. These are old irons. Once again, as I said at the top of the show. So the guy's just going to play what works for him, and he's not going to bow down to what equipment manufacturers are trying to require him to play. And guess what? He's one of the best ball strikers right now in the world. So clearly he knows something we all don't. In the wedges, he has the Titleist Vokey Design SM10s in 48, 52, 56, and 60. And in those, he is rocking the Dynamic Gold Issue S300 shafts. Very, very unique. Normally in tour players, we see X100s, or your guys who are looking for more of a soft feel. They are in S400s, which is what I play in my wedges. So very cool. And then putter, custom Bettinardi Tour. I'm not sure if it's considered a prototype, but it's a tour that you and I would not be able to get. It's a BB1, and it's actually called the Fitz. So unless you're going to find one of these in the secondhand market or somebody that knows Fitz, you're probably not going to get your hands on one of these. All the grips, he's playing Golf Pride Tour Velvets, and for golf ball, he is playing the Pro V1X. So guy is looking to spin it a little more around the green. So very, very cool bag. Leading, I know we kind of got segments are jumping all over, but I like to do that in my podcasting lately. Live Golf, having a moment. Bryson DeChambeau, back-to-back wins, takes down Jon Rahm, and man, his game is looking unworldly. We covered the story on FWYtimes.com of his very public split with LA Golf. And I'm not going to lie, I thought that was a pretty brutal and stupid split considering how much LA Golf had given them. And I also live very, very close to the LA Golf headquarters, so it's kind of a company that's close to my heart. But him and Avada are building something special. So for those of you that don't know, when Bryson paired up with Tom Bailey from Avada, supposedly the reports are that Bryson was on the grinding wheel himself, getting the look of the irons when he looked down at them right. And I kind of called it in the article about a month and a half ago that he would be a full Avada guy. And he looks like he made the right decision, because Bryson, we all know, his success depends on his equipment because of his unique speed, his unique needs, right? One length irons, guys. He plays all his irons at one length. Very, very unique, which it surprises me that the natural was not to kind of maybe head and see what Cobra had been doing lately. That shocked me, but he doesn't want to be under one of the big dog companies. He wants to be able to do what he wants, build what he wants, and I respect it. Him and Jon Rahm's games both looked unbelievable in South Africa. And we're not going to cover too much of Live Golf because I actually have a really good buddy of mine who is from South Africa. His family was in country for this Live Golf event. And so he is going to be coming on Friday to talk a little more about the tournament. So, and what he thought of it, and what he thinks about Jon Rahm and Bryson headed in the Masters, as well as P. Reed. So we're not going to cover too much in depth of it, but I just wanted to note it, that Bryson's game looks unbelievable. I think this guy is going to be easily a lock for top 10 at the Masters, and it's going to be absolute cinema just because he always causes drama, and I love it so much. And I used to hate Bryson just like everybody else with the stupid rope incident, and now just with his YouTube golf emergence and everything he does for the game, I'm a converted fan, and I'm a guy that usually doesn't convert on guys I do not like. Bryson, awesome. Love the content as well. All right, guys, quick break in the episode to tell you about one of our sponsors, and that is The Fairway Times, your go-to golf media website with articles covering every corner of the game from the PGA Tour to the latest in equipment. Subscribe today using the link in the show notes and you'll receive a free mental performance golf guide delivered straight to your inbox, guaranteed to have you shooting lower scores in no time. Visit fwy.com. That's fwy.com, the Fairway Times, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Back to the show. All right, guys, new segment. We are talking golf fashion. As a couple of you guys know, we started covering this on the Fairway Times a little bit ago, and my fiance read the article and she just kind of was like, hold my beer, like, this is my area. So Casey Chaves, welcome to the show, resident fashion expert. How are you today?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a resident fashion expert, but I'm good.
All right, so I got a fun segment planned for us today. So I'm going to be showing you some outfits from the Valspar Championship this weekend, particularly from Pro-Am Day, because that is what most of the images we have available to us that are really high quality. So I'm going to be taking us through, and I'm going to try to flash the images up on the screen for you guys. And so you guys can kind of follow along with us. So number one, we have the winner, Max Fitzpatrick. And I'd like you to rate these 1 to 10. He is a Skechers sponsored athlete, which draws a lot of mixed reviews from people in the golf fashion space. So give me your initial thoughts on Fitzy here.
It looks like something my dad would wear. I'm not hating on it. I do love the butter yellow that's very in right now, that color.
Okay.
But I don't love it.
Okay, and do you have any thoughts on the fact that his primary sponsor is Skechers, and he was wearing some very chunky Skechers? Now, before you say anything, he did win $1.7 million this weekend and captured first place. So I don't want that to sway you, but just what are your thoughts on Skechers as a whole, as a company? Are they cool with females your age? Are they hip these days? I don't know. These platform shoes, I'm seeing you guys wear these. Is Skechers in on that? I'd like to know.
No.
Not cool.
Not cool.
Not cool. So the logo, even you hate on him?
It just reminds me of a more mature individual.
Got it. Okay, so Matt Fitzpatrick, certified Englishman and certified old man.
No.
All right. So next one, we have Nikolai Hogard, Callaway and Adidas guy. And I mean, from my sense, this kid's got some swagger. Give me your thoughts.
No, I agree entirely. You know, I'm a big Callaway fan, but the sweater vest, he looks so cute and handsome. Okay. I like it. I dig it.
Okay. So, we do need to go back. What do you give Fitzpatrick out of 10 first?
Like 10 being the best or 1 being the best?
10 being the best.
Okay. I give him a good 5.
5. Okay. I feel like that's very generous. Okay. So back to Nikolai. We've seen him compete at a high level before, has some swagger. I'm not sure if I've ever seen the vest come out in competition. This is obviously the Pro-Am Day. I'm a huge fan of the knit vest. I think this is great. Any other thoughts on vests on the golf course for males or females, really?
No, I've never seen it before, and I think that's why I like it, because it's unique.
Okay. It looks like he's also potentially rocking some sort of maybe collared long sleeve, or you see what I'm seeing, or am I seeing wrong?
I think this is a under, like, not a thermal, but like
some type of sleeve
workout, and then it looks like there's a cutoff right here. So it's like a polo vest and then an undershirt, long sleeve.
Okay. Anything else before we rate it?
A little too many layers for me, now that I see that there's an undersleeve.
Okay.
But I like it.
Okay, and give me your rating.
I gave it an 8.
8. Okay, so extremely high. Yeah. All right, next up, we have the new kid, Jarek Higo from South Africa, I believe he's from. He is a Malbon athlete, so choose your words wisely, as I know we somewhat have separated opinions on Malbon in this house because I own a decent amount of it. You've helped me pick out my Malbon.
I like Malbon.
We do like Malbon. We just sometimes don't like the new direction they're sometimes heading. So talk to me about Jarek here.
I personally don't love it.
Okay, why?
There's too many colors going on.
Okay.
The navy pants, cool. I dig that. Because they're kind of more of like an athletic, like, jogger, or tapered pants probably is the better term. It's sick. And then he has, like, the Jordan socks on. I like it. It's very, like, modern golf, like, cool guy golf, you know?
agree.
But the jacket just reminds me of, like, it's going to be pouring rain and I'm going on, like, a 20-mile hike and camping overnight.
I was going to say this reminds me of two people I would see hiking in the Pacific Northwest that potentially go get in their Subaru. This is what it reminds me of. Okay, I tend to agree. I think the jacket choice I like the jacket itself, but I think it needed to be a different color.
Yeah, I agree. Or, like, with khaki pants, maybe,
okay.
Or black. I don't know. Just the blue and the green and the orange is doing a lot.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the new style of golf hat? Less traditional, more modern, cool guy style hat.
I don't mind it. I think it's his hair.
Okay, we have Jarek. She's got some beef with your hair.
Well, no, that sounds so mean.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about the shoes. He's got some cool, looks like some Jordans on, some new style Nikes. Are those something you like on the golf course, or do those need to stay at home?
I personally don't mind them, but I'm a big FootJoy person. Like, I love the classic line of FootJoys. Like, I think you can't go wrong with those. So, like, those don't beat out FootJoys for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
But FootJoys don't really work with his outfit, though. So that's why I don't mind these.
Okay, give me a ranking.
I give him, like, 6.8.
Okay, so higher than Fitzy, but
Yeah.
lower than Nikolai Hogard. All right. Going into one of, I know, your personal favorite guys, Max Homa in the
What a man.
Lululemon. So he is a Lululemon and Puma athlete, and the newest Cobra Puma athlete. Give me your thoughts on the outfit. Give me your thoughts on Lululemon as a whole, because I know you have very strong opinions about this brand.
Well, love Lululemon, love Max. I think this is a classic good golf look. I don't think you can go wrong with them. And those look like the ABC pants to me. And I know I've gotten you addicted to those. Though Lululemon as a whole, this sounds like it's sponsored. I wish it was.
It could be.
But they just have great quality stuff. And I just think it's clean and it's classic, especially with the Puma shoes.
I tend to agree. I'm not sure I love the olive pants.
I
but
like it. It's something different, but not like too different.
Okay. Look, you're the resident golf fashion expert here. That's why I brought you in. Anything else on Max? I know he wears kind of the different style of hat. He just kind of has a different kind of swagger out there. Any other thoughts before we rank him?
No, love the lab putter too.
It's a Scotty.
Oh my God.
That's why we have her in for the golf fashion segment, everybody. Okay, give me a ranking on Max Homa.
It's hard because, like, I love him as, like, a person too. So I'm like, 10.
We do follow him a lot when we're out on tour.
Yeah. But honestly, like, outfit wise, I give him a solid, like, 8.
8. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to one of my favorite guys, Tony Finau. We know his wife dresses him. We know he's usually in Jordan. What do we think of this outfit? And we were just at Riviera where we saw Tony in an extremely swaggy outfit. So thoughts on this outfit as well as just Tony's fashion sense in general?
Well, loved his outfit at Riv. I believe it was pretty much all Malbon.
I think he was wearing a lot of Jordan at Riviera, but we have seen him in Malbon a couple times.
Oh, never mind. But I just like the all blue. I think it's very classy, but it's also, like, still hip. I think it looks sick, honestly. Is his glove even Jordan too?
It is. And what are your thoughts on the extremely baggy pants, cargo pant look that Malbon and Jordan have made popular? But before you judge it, I will say that Tony is usually wearing a more traditional extra baggy slack that Jordan has come out with. So what are your thoughts on just the baggy pants trend in general for PGA Tour players, like throwing it back to 90s golf?
I guess it's really hard for me, right? Because, like, I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to, like, be like, I absolutely hate it. because I don't really know if I've ever actually seen like
The extra baggies.
I know, but I think when we go in person, like I watch and like or on TV, I'm like, oh, I don't like those. But like right now, I'm like, I can't think of how they look.
Yeah, they're usually, I think Malbon is trying to bring that back a lot with Jason Day. So just something to note. But while we're on it, give Tony an outfit rating, please.
I give him an 8.5. I think it looks very classic, and I like the all blue.
Okay, shout out
swaggy.
Tony Finau's wife passes the Casey Chaves resident fashion experts meter, one of the highest of the day. Okay, so those are the golfers we are rating. So now I just would like to get your thoughts on just golf fashion in general. Where is it going? What are you seeing that you're liking when you're out on the course with me? What are you wearing as a female for our female listeners that you're really liking right now?
I mean, we live in Southern California, so it's all pretty much like athletic dresses is what I really enjoy. I really like Travis Matthews, like the way their design's going. Their clothes are also super comfy. Malbon has some really cool stuff. What I've noticed with Malbon, which is what I kind of tell you when you ask for my opinion on getting stuff from Malbon, is it's cool for like a one-off piece.
Okay.
But I like the traditional, more golf look.
So Jason Day wearing all camo out on the golf course is not for you.
Not personally for me, but love that for him.
So clean, classic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anything else that you are seeing? Because I know that you and I do a lot of vintage shopping, specifically looking for golf attire. Mm-hmm. What are you looking for the ladies out there when you are thrift store hunting? Because you found some amazing pieces, and I know we've had discussions just based around how much better the quality is of stuff from 80s and 90s golf.
I mean, I think it's just really cool going thrifting. So I highly recommend that if you have friends or even just like a boyfriend, girlfriend that you want to go with and like look for cool pieces to wear to the golf course. I'm still regretting not getting that red jacket we found yesterday. For the listeners, it had like embroidered little dogs on it, but then also literally said golf on it all over the place. It literally looked like it was from like the 60s probably, right?
Yeah.
But it was so cute. And I put it back because I was like, I already have too much and I regret it. I would say just like go have fun and just find stuff that's in your style.
Yeah, and I think what we're finding as well in the most respectful and nicest way possible, which is older people, particularly probably boomers, are near the end of their life or near the end. And these people were members at some of the most prestigious clubs in Southern California in our area. And now all their stuff is ending up at thrift stores. And it's really cool if you're kind of willing to go out, take a little bit of a risk out on it. Just that you can find some cool pieces.
And also, too, you don't go just one time and you find a bunch, which that does happen. Don't get me wrong. But we went to 3 thrift stores yesterday and I only found that one piece for golf. Found other stuff.
Yep. Okay, we touched briefly on the baggy pants craze.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the baggy cargo pants phase, the big pockets that now we're seeing out on the golf course together? Now, I own a pair of them. They're specifically Lululemon. So if Lulu would like to sponsor this line, we are available. Please hit our line. But I would like to get the resident golf fashion experts on the baggy cargo pants that we are seeing take craze all over Southern California golf courses with these young people.
I personally hate them.
Wow.
But I will say again, that's me personally. That's my opinion. I don't care for the cargo pants. I feel like they're a little too informal for the golf course.
Okay. You know what? I think that's fair. She is more of a traditionalist, golf fashion expert. So I think that's very fair. I know you mentioned FootJoy. Do you want to expand on just kind of what shoes you're really enjoying? We've talked about Jordan today. I know we've talked FootJoy. You've seen my Nikes. I have a couple pairs of the Victory 4s. That's Scheffler wears. Kind of, what are your thoughts? And if you want to expand, I know we've watched Scotty Scheffler a ton together. If you want to go into his very simple Nike fashion sense as well, what your thoughts are on all those topics?
Personally, I personally have a FootJoy pair that I actually thrifted.
You did.
They were brand new. the leather classic ones that are in white.
Yep,
for
they
females.
were, but they were an original pair of not traditionalists as we know them today, but they were actually just probably called the Premier or the Traditionalist back then, and they are amazing. I agree.
Yeah, and I also have like the Nike Golf Roches, and I will say my FootJoys are 10 times more comfy than my Roches are. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. We both have a pair of
Yeah.
Roches when we first got into golf some years ago now, because Roches were just cool back then, and we didn't really know any better. But now I think when we're going out to play together, we're both either wearing FootJoys or I'm going to be wearing a pair of Victory 4s for sure.
And those are your blue ones?
No, my Victory 4s are those all white ones, that the same ones Scheffler wears. They're a little bit of the chunkier ones.
Those are cool, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any last thing you'd like to let the listeners know about while you're here?
These are all my opinions. They might not be right for you, and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
All right. You heard it here first. Casey Chaves, thank you for coming on the podcast. We are going to make this a regular occurrence where we talk about, just PGA Tour players, what they're wearing. And I hope Jason Day comes out in some crazy shit for the Masters just for this segment. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, very much for listening. And we will see you later this week for the next episode. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I like to hit bombs.
I do. There's a lot more to winning than just, hitting bombs.
You saw him dropping all kinds of bombs off the tee. I mean, just hellacious bombs.
I have to have the ability to hit bombs. We talk about it. You got to hit long out here. Hit bombs. Todd, when I stop hitting bombs, I'll play the Champions Tour, but I'm hitting some crazy bombs.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Remember to hit bombs, and I will see you next time.